Who is actually Didier Coeurnelle, one of the central players in the French transhumanist movement worldwide, coming to us from the capital of Europe, as he often says. Didier, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me or not?
Good.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. No, I sometimes say the capital of the world, but this is not serious, of course. Today I will speak about a specific theme. There are many interesting questions, but I will speak about a specific theme: biodiversity, risks and hopes. Okay, and okay. So yeah, transhumanists know that until now, many of the people who were announcing a big environmental risk and a way that we are doomed, they were wrong until now. They were wrong for acid rains. They were wrong for the nuclear risk. They were also wrong concerning the depletion of ozone layer. But okay, it's not because the situation was never really dangerous until now that it's not going to be very dangerous in a not so far future. So for me, concerning the aspect, only the existential risks, let's say, only on the environmental side, there are at least 3 categories. So one, I will not speak about this today, is about kind of a snowball effect for global warming, you know, things going really rapidly very bad and an Earth becoming very quite fast and kind of Venus Earth. There is the second category of unknown cocktail effects of products that are not dangerous by themselves, but they are dangerous when you combine them. And then there is, and maybe it's related to the second aspect, there is the disappearance of biodiversity on an exponential way that we cannot, that we can absolutely not control. So, and this is maybe the case for, especially for the least visible animals, like insects. A few statistics about that. So, in all places, almost all places where there was they try to see how fast and how bad things are going. There was a constatation that it's really going very bad. So, for example, in German protected areas, since 27 years, people are measuring how much the biomass is of flying insects is disappearing, and it's been in this 27 years, about 3/4. So really a lot. About 40% of insect species are threatened with extinction. So in the world. So there are reasons to hope, there are reasons to worry, and there are big doubts. So some reasons to hope. Let's begin with the bright side. Of course, we have an unprecedented awareness of the ecological, the environmental questions. And I would say, so even on the transhumanist side, even if it is not, of course, only today, but more than before. And this is thanks to the fact that we have, among other things, more data than ever. So people who are against, let's say, technological progress, they forget that only the fact that we know what the situation is because we have this technological progress making us able to measure what's happening. It is also only a matter of conscientiously repairing what you have accidentally damaged. So logically, it could be, well, quite easy just to stop something once we know what's happening because of also better technology than ever. But there are also some reasons to be really not optimistic. So the first one is that the diversity of our industrial production with unknown effects on life, I will come back to this, the disappearance of biodiversity before we even realize it, so especially for insects, and so the disappearance of insects also. Okay. And then there are big doubts, many things that we really don't know. And there are two causes for me. The one is the greenwashing and the other is the doomwashing. So now each time that you have new that you have technological progress, or each time that some people in power want to change something, they will use kind of a what I will the word that we could use is greenwashing. They will present things like it is ecologically positive in almost all cases. So even, for example, when there is a new use of coal, they will say, yeah, but no, it's clean coal. We use also less efficient than before. But on the other side, you have kind of a doom washing. So all people opposed, all biologists, they are also very good to present all new technologies and all initiatives as negative. And sometimes they are right, sometimes they are wrong. And it's so systematically there that it's very, very, very difficult to know what's the truth. And then last aspect is all this snowball effect. So José was speaking about inegularity, but yeah, singularity, all these things who are going on an exponential way. We are at the beginning of it. Also concerning global warming, also concerning other risk, and we are not far away yet to know if it is really an exponential trend or if it is going to stop at some time. So a little bit more about what I read this word insectagadon. I like it. Well, I like the idea. I like the word, not the concept, of course. So like I said already, this decrease of insects is worldwide. It's very strong. It's even in protected areas. And this is the most important thing. As far as I know, and I would love somebody to disagree with me and to say, no, I disagree and I have the cause. As far as I know, there's no clear cause. You all probably know about this example for the people who are old enough here. They remember when we were young and traveling in a car, the windshield was full of dying dead insects after a few hours of riding. And no, it's not that like that. But okay, you could say, well, that's because flying insects are disappearing and they adapt themselves. But when you just go, if you have a dog, you go to with your dog, and the poop of the dog before it was full of flies. No, it's not anymore. And let's be. We know that the flies, they are not especially very fragile animals. So why even the flies are disappearing? It's strange. It's not a lack of specific space like large animals. So yeah, they are there unknowns probably. Also, why is it so for me especially worrying? It's because in the past, concerning the insects, well, the famous book of Rachel Carson, it was already almost 60 years ago, Silent Spring. And it was really to make people aware of the risk. Well, some people will say it was exaggerated, but okay, that's another question. The people were really at this time aware of the risk of insecticides and especially DDT. There was a general improvement of the legislations. Well, 60 years ago or 70 years ago, people were even dying because of pollution of the air. Well, massively dying, not after years and years. And we had a lot of new products to replace the old products, but still this bad evolution that I was saying at the beginning, it's during the last 30 years, about the last 30 years. So when the legislations are globally improving, especially in Europe and in the US. So there are many possible causes. That's one of the, well, the schema there, you see all causes together following one article that it's also quoted. For me, there are, let's say, three main possible explanations, but I don't see them as correct. So really, I want you to put in the chat what's your explanation. So you could say pesticides and other products, but once again, no, they are normally less nocive. You could say loss of natural areas, but once again, it's even in protected areas that you have this problem. You could say that's because of invasive species, but it could explain why you have less diversity, less biodiversity, but not why there is even less biomass. And I'm almost sure people will react here to say that what a joke, but you could say also it's the problem of waves, mobile phones and so on. Well, and well, you could say that also because it's the only thing who was really changing dramatically in some kind of dangerous way for some people the last 30 years. So what can we do? Well, what we should not do at least in my opinion, even as a techno-progressist, is to say, yeah, it's not a problem. For example, for pollination, we can replace with robots. I don't think it's a good idea to say to have this kind of thinking. It's not also not enough to ban some substances without testing others. So yeah, of course, we need more measurements in general with the progress concerning DNA and all other ways to have big data. We can progress a lot. In Europe, we have the so-called REACH directive who make normally obligatory to see if there are negative effects for humans, but also in the nature. But the problem is it's going very slow, very, very slow. And it's only for Europe. Well, and for some I mean also in North America, but it's not going, there are similar laws, but it's not going fast enough in general, and certainly not in poorer countries. So in preparation for the debate, because I don't have the solution really, yeah, the state and companies must invest in research and measures concerning biodiversity. One very important thing for, as the most transhumanists are life extensionists, well, almost all, the right to health of tomorrow and the right to health for the day after tomorrow depends on understanding the risk of biodiversity loss. Why is this happening? And we need better standards. We need international standards for, let's say, trying to stop this evolution. And of course, but this is not only for this question, and I think until now we were not discussing about this. We need more international governance for global questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Didier. You are just in time. It looks like nobody in the group has any answers either as to why the insects are disappearing. I was doing a quick search on Google and Google doesn't seem to know the answer either. My question for you briefly is, why isn't this getting more attention, given that whatever is killing the insects, if we don't know what it is, might end up killing other things in due course? Why does this rarely get any attention?
Well, because of course a fly is smaller than an elephant, and he's less. In Dutch, there is a nice word, "Eibaarheidsfactor." How could you translate that? It's less sympathetic, less. That's of course one aspect. The second aspect is until now we don't see any, and this is also for me a kind of a mystery. We don't see any bad consequence of this. We just notice that the insects are disappearing, but it has no already visible impact. So really, for me, when I was preparing this, I was, I would say, more worried at the end of my preparation than before, like you say, because I was, of course, Googling around. Okay, and they say, yes, there is a combination of reasons. But if you take all these reasons together and you put the case of German protected areas, you don't understand why is it going why is it going worse now than 30 years ago, where legislation, certainly in Germany, and certainly, for example, because the East Germany was really not a great place for environment. So why? We don't know.
All right. And as you say, there's two kinds of questions. Why? What is the answer to that question? And why are we not very good at looking for answers to that question at a systematic level? But let's not go there now. Let's hand over to the next speaker.